Talk about going back and forth. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are going to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Again.
What it is, isn't it?
November 15th. What do you make of it?
Backed by popular demand, their wishes are command, I suspect. I am in the business of liking steak, not hamburger. And I think it's a hamburger. But I know that people liked it. I think that all the narratives have been spun out. There'll be some script writers busily creating an opportunity to create some controversy. We've run it all. We've run it back. I mean, I was listening to Johnny Nelson. It's interesting that Johnny now thinks that Conor Benn's going to win this fight, which lays plans to the best laid plans of mice of men for a third fight and an opportunity to wheel in.
One apiece, you got to do it again.
Wheel in the Brinks-Matt delivery of more money for these two guys. Look, I understand why they're fighting. I understand the relevance of the fight economically. I would have liked to see Conor go off and fight for a world title because I think there's one's available for him to win. But the public loved it.
Yeah,
I was less enamoured by it. I mean, Conor sulking.
Did you watch the first one? I know you
didn't watch it
go.
live. I watched it on the Saturday morning.
Okay.
Because I felt if I didn't watch it, I wouldn't have much to say on it on Monday, and everyone would just say you didn't watch it, so how can you have any comment on it? But I wasn't as invested as other people. I sort of said all along that I didn't think it was going to be the greatest of fights. I understand that people did think it was a great fight. It was an honest fight. There were two guys in there putting out their very best because of the
history,
circumstances and the history, and so they should. Yeah. They made such a 4-act play out of it, and they're trading off their fathers' names. The two great fighters were Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. These two are poor imitations.
But good imitations.
Well, I think they're... Yeah, listen, we would describe this fight very... First of all, no one would pay 50 grand for it if it wasn't the Eubank and Benn names above the door. And secondly, we would probably describe it differently if we weren't all sucked into the sentimentality and nostalgia trip. You know, Waste is going to earn 500 million quid because of nostalgia. Nostalgia sells. Yeah. So I get it. And I get the fact that there was a lot
But then you've got to deliver in the ring.
And they did.
As Oasis have got to perform at Wembley.
And they did. They gave a spectacle. And they gave the very least they could do, which was absolutely leave it all in the ring. As far as quality is concerned, I've been fortunate, as have you, over the last 2 years, because of the change of direction and the money that's been brought into boxing, because of the innovation of Frank Warren and because of the finances of the Saudis, you're seeing all the best fights now. You've got this embarrassment of riches. So whilst I get it and I understand that it's a great British tradition to dig out things like this, I'm not as invested. And people say it's you being miserable. Conor's that doesn't want to talk to me anymore because I dare say anything critical, but I couldn't care less. If people want to watch it, fair play to them. And they're going to get paid a lot of money. The interesting thing will be, can it live up to whatever hype they're going to have to create? Because the deal has been done, the deed has been seen. It's whether we can do something different to capture the public's imagination.
Which is going to be difficult because it almost seemed to tick all the right boxes, didn't it?
Probably will. There's enough money in the room. You know, you can't slap somebody in the face with an egg. You can't call somebody a cheat anymore. You know, you can't reveal that someone's father is now talking to you when they weren't previously. You can't do any of this again. So you've got to do something different. Yeah. And they are nothing if not imaginative. And Chris Eubank Jr. is a master at work when it comes to...
Oh, he's fantastic.
It's fabulous to watch. I don't always agree with the things that he says and does, and I didn't like him when he watched Billy Joe Saunders get knocked out or stopped by Canelo Alvarez and revelling in the fact that Billy Joe Saunders had stopped the fight rather than go out on his shield as he thought. But I think when he goes into press conferences and he starts splattergunning people and having the balls to do it, I think fair play to you. It is box office.
It's quite similar to you in that sense.
Well, but that's flattering. But I mean, he is very, very good, very bold, very strong. He can only rehash so much. He can tell Eddie Hearn to shut up so many times now. He can tell his brother-in-law to shut up so many times. We've seen all that, right? We've got to see something different.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you surprised they've not gone to Wembley, considering how big the first one was and how much of a success it was? If you can get an extra 30,000 in there, why wouldn't you go to...
Yeah, I don't know whether the logistics of Wembley at that time were available to them.
True. Yeah, maybe,
whether Daniels made it such an appealing proposition economically that because they want to utilise Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because they need to monetise it for outside events. I don't know. The fact of the matter is that it was a resounding success. Another 30,000 fans in there might bring in another 3 million quid or maybe a little bit more. It's
pays for the undercard.
It pays for the undercard, but the undercard will pay for itself in this. I mean, it'll be fascinating to see who's on the undercard. You got any indications of that?
Nothing yet. Hopefully, by the time we do the boxing hour at 12 to 1, we might have a bit more news.
It'll be interesting to see also how Ben Shalom fits into the equation now. Lots of background noise. A lot of money will be made out of the first fight. A lot of money will be made out of the second fight. This might be helping Boxer regain some poise.
What's going on with Ben? Have you heard from Ben? You two have a bit of a relationship.
I've spoken to Ben a couple of times. He will have things to say. He's not going to run around. Obviously, Queensberry and Matchroom are going to dance on his supposed grave because of the loss of the Sky contract. He'll have another broadcast deal. I think he should be communicating better than he is now because I think he's allowing the vacuum to be filled by other people and he's allowing noise to be built up. And the one thing in sport, or the two things in sport that are the biggest commodities are gossip and money, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of that going on.
A lot of gossip,
boxing.
a lot of money.
Yeah. And so, Ben needs to be front and centre controlling his own destiny, but he's captain of his own ship. He'll row the boat how he wants to.
Indeed. Again, we will talk more on that. Ben Eubank, we are having the boxing hour, normally on a Thursday. It will be a Wednesday. Spencer Oliver is going to join us in studio for that as always, as will Anthony Yarde, who has a big fight coming up November against David Benavidez. World title fight for Anthony Yarde. So it'll be interesting to get his views on all things boxing. I want to get immediate thoughts from everyone around the table about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2. Announced, or should I say Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn? He'll probably message me. November 15th, a week before your fight, November 15th. November, all of a sudden, looking busy. What do you make of it, Spence?
From a selfish point of view, I want to see it again because the first one was an absolute barnstormer. But do you get the same again? Look, sometimes we have had that. We had it in trilogies with like Eric Morales and Barrera. We saw that the styles just gelled so well. I think with what's on the line with these two, the family feud that goes back so long and the egos that are involved and the will to win. I think we get it again. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it favours Conor more going into this second fight than it does Chris Eubank because of the stipulations that have been put in place. So that are all pretty much the same. I think it's quite widely known that Chris Eubank Jr. does struggle to make 160. So it's how he makes that. The rehydration clause is still in place, etc., etc. So look. It's an interesting fight. The first one was a close fight. I thought Eubank deserved to win that one, but it could be closer, this one.
You fought on that card, the first one. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, packed. Absolutely packed. Are you surprised they're doing it again, or did it just make sense because if it makes money, it makes sense, right? And the first one made quite a lot of money.
That's it. I don't think it... For me, it's like they've done it. They gave us such a good fight. I literally had my fight, because I was a fight just before. I had my fight. I still had my shorts on. I had to do the drug test, so I told them to come with me. I wanted to watch the fight. So we was there ringside. I enjoyed it a lot. I just feel like they gave us what we wanted, even with the weight difference or whatever. Me personally, they both left the ring. As I said, I wanted a good fight. They both left happy. Well, not both happy, but they both left healthy. More money in their pocket.
Move on.
Let it go, move on. But, again, I'm not mad at them that they did it again.
That's the argument, though, isn't it, Simon? Chris should go maybe to 168 if he wants to continue boxing. If you're Conor, you look at the 147 division right now. It's not hot. Yeah. I mean, there's a chance to win a world title at 147 if you're Conor.
It's a balance.
Shouldn't you be doing that?
I mean, ultimately, I said it earlier on, I like steak, not hamburger. But that's my view. That the money that they're going to get from this fight is significant. They're not going to get the same sort of money elsewhere. I think with due respect, prize fighting has its meaning. I think Chris fights for money. I don't think he fights for titles. And that's why I've always had an issue with him, and because we've heard lots of noise from Chris. And I like him. I think he's a superstar in the way that he conducts himself in the media. But we've always heard about Las Vegas mansions and his card scores and how he does this and how he does that. When it comes to fighting, and he wants to fight Triple G and he wants that, but never does. And I think there's something to be said. I mean, he's going to fight for world titles. I mean, he's going to get paid for fighting for a world title, but he's going to fight for a world title. So I'd rather watch Anthony Yarde fight David Benavidez every day of the week and twice on Sunday than watch Conor Benn fight Chris Eubank because their fathers are great. Sorry, I know that might be mean-spirited and people can have their view on it, but...
You can't deny, though, that the first fight wasn't an absolute barnstormer, and stylistically, we will get that again.
Yeah, I mean, you got what you should get. If you're going to go and represent your fathers and trade off their names and you're going to sell it as something that people want to see, the least you can go and do is leave it all in there, right? Let's not be grateful for that. I know that when we get a stinker that we say, well, actually, we got a stinker, we should have got something better. But with all the noise, all the furore, we should have got what we got. But did we, as a fight, in terms of if you're looking at it as a spectacle, yes, it was a barn burner, Spence, and I agree with you, and you've got more knowledge, and he's got more knowledge than I'll ever know, right, because you've both done it. But as an impartial observer looking at it, I like people to be at the very top of their craft if they're getting rewarded the kind of rewards that these guys are getting. And I think we sell people things, and we sell them pups. Yeah, okay, great barn burner, fantastic. I've seen it. I've watched it now. I don't need to watch it again.
So you won't watch it live?
I didn't watch it live last time, no.
We won't watch this one live?
I don't know, it depends what I'm doing.
From a business point of view, from Chris' side, though, you go, look, when you look at it and where he's sat in his career right now, and you're right in what you say, is that does he go for that world title and follow that dream of becoming a world champion, or does he go in for the business side of things and get an astronomical amount of money in a fight against a guy that he well believes that he'll win again? And I'm not sure that world title opportunity has come forward quick enough for him, and that's why this fight's going on.
I probably agree in the principle of why wouldn't you take it if you're them? Because you're in the business now at a certain stage in your career. Conor is the one I'm more disappointed in because I think Conor's career is in a certain position. And I think he does I know there was a lot of affection for him after the performance that he put in against Chris Eubank in the first fight, which I thought he would do anyway, because the one thing Conor Benn is his game. But I also think there's a credibility world title. I think he gets credibility. I think fighting Chris Eubank, he gets more notoriety, more recognisability, and a bigger bank balance. He can have all of that and win a world title.
Isn't Conor at the age, though, I guess question to you as well, Anthony, where he can maybe have this and still fight for a world title after? Conor's not the same age as Chris Eubank Jr. He's several years younger.
Yeah, but again, the way I always see boxing, especially a sport like boxing, is, you know, one fight can change everything. That's not even me thinking negative. That's the reality of the sport. So, my personality has always been, you know, I want to win a world title.
I want to test yourself.
I want to test myself. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be able to look in the mirror when I retire and say, yeah, I know that person. Like, really, look in my eyeball and say, I know who that person is. I'm not just a talker. I went for it. There's no regrets. I know what would happen if I went into that fight because I went into it.
You could do that if you retired tomorrow, though, with the fighters that you've boxed for world titles before. Going to box Kovalev back in Russia in 2019, who was a pound-for-pound star.
Yeah.
And then, you know, last time out as well against Beterbiev, who again was a pound-for-pound star. You could actually retire tomorrow and say, look, I got my world title opportunities and I went in there and give it my best shot. So, you know, I think you fulfilled that side of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I have fulfilled that side in terms of courage, in terms of knowing who I am as a person. But I want to fulfill the dream, you know, the good side of it is winning the fight. That's just my personality and my character. And yeah, what a journey. So
It's crazy with you. I always think, like, and this isn't to discredit anyone that's won a world championship. I've not laced up the gloves professionally, so I wouldn't do that. But you've had the hardest task
literally
trying to fight for a world title that it can be. I mean, Benavidez, Beterbiev and Kovalev.
Yeah.
I mean, there are easier ways to win a world title. Sometimes you must almost be proud of yourself, the fact that, okay, I've had that, I'm facing these challenges, but also at the same time, surely there could have been an easier way, an easier route to a world title.
Yeah, definitely. But my only mentality is, now I need to win. I need to win the fight. I don't lie to myself, you know. Yes, I can be proud. I'm different from a lot of other fighters. Not a lot of fighters, 18 fights in, one of the biggest prospects in the UK at the time, would have gone to Russia to fight someone like Kovalev. Same thing with Beterbiev. They would have said, nah. There's other routes, especially if you're talking about making money and things like that.
Do you regret any of those?
No.
You wouldn't have gone back and thought, nope, maybe take a couple more before Kovalev?
No.
Experience? No?
Absolutely
But
not.
you're all about opportunity, and that's what boxing presents to you. And it's like, you know, whoever's in front of you, some people get lucky and they get a weak world champion and that opportunity comes up. And then they can go on and, you know, monetize it other ways. But you've taken that opportunity when you said, look, you could have shut the door on both of those fights if you really wanted to and gone for different avenues. But I love that, you know, if the opportunity is presented to you as a prize fighter and you go, that's it, because I'm chasing my dream. That's what it's all about.
And look, this is what I'm going to tell you something about me, yeah? There's some people that say, oh, yeah, you know, it's a common thing in boxing where they start saying he's fighting for money. He's taking a fight because of money. If I was a person that was in the sport just for money, I'm not saying I'm not in the sport for money, but if it was just for money, I would have taken step aside money against Kovalev because they offered me the exact same amount to step aside so he could fight Canelo. I said, no. I said, I've got my opportunity. I've worked my way to the number one spot. I want to fight Kovalev. I don't care where it is. So that shows my character. I'm always going to go for the biggest opportunity possible for me. And this is why I get upset when people start saying, why are you not fighting this person? Why are you not fighting that person? I'm saying, I've shown my character. I will fight anybody that makes sense. I will fight anybody who the public really want me to fight. Not naming no names. I will fight anybody who is in my weight division that's highly ranked. On paper, better than me. You know, because I'm a realist. Benavidez, Kovalev, Beterbiev, on paper, they should wipe the floor with me. But again, I've gone in there each time and shown a better account of myself, and this time will be even better. And enough to win.
That's what we want to see, don't we? That's what we want to see. I want to hear. Finally, just and putting to bed, we'll talk about it so much more in the lead up to it. Conor versus Chris. Wembley was an option. Are you surprised they've not gone Wembley, actually? I mean, Tottenham, 60,000, Wembley, nearly 95. They could have sold out Wembley.
Do you know what, though? I think the atmosphere in Tottenham,
better, isn't it?
the way that the stadium is built,
Yeah.
mate, is just insane. Like, we've done Wembley, we've done Tottenham.
Bowl, isn't it? It's like a bowl.
It is. It's like it was built for boxing, the way that it is, and the sound that it keeps in there. So, look, I'm not surprised they went back to Tottenham, if I'm honest.
Who do you think wins?
I think Eubank wins again.
Do you care? Can I ask you? Who do you make as favourite?
Eubank. I think it's rinse and repeat, but I think Conor gets closer. I'd like to see Conor win. But the trouble with that is then we've got to have a bloody third. Right? Because that will be the next thing, won't it? So let's hope Chris Eubank wins so we can put it to bed.
It would be terrible if you had to watch another third Barnstable.
He would hate it, isn't it? Yeah. He would hate it. Who do you think wins? I know you know both of them, so it's always difficult.
I know both of them, so I don't really like to call a winner.
Who's favourite then?
I think favourite again is going to be Eubank. He's a bigger guy. He's got that, again, attributes, experience, fought the bigger names, etc. Yeah.
He looked so much bigger as well, didn't he?
Well,
in the ring that day, I thought he looked a lot bigger.
Well,
I know they tried to dehydrate him and take everything out of him, but he just almost ballooned into like a light heavyweight.
It's insane because you see him on fight week, you see them both together on fight week, and you think they look 2 weight divisions apart. You see him on the weigh-in, they look the same because Chris is completely stripped down, and then the day after when they get in the ring, that size advantage is there again, but it does have an effect on the body, taking all that weight out and whatnot. Like, there's so many ifs, buts and maybes around this fight because of the weight stipulation. It's the same rules that applied before. It's so much, so you just don't know what that takes out of Chris. And, Conor, like you say, is 27. He's improving all the time. The momentum is with him. He would have gained a lot from that one. Can Chris improve again? Can he go to the well like he did last time? Because in round 9, when we looked at Chris in round 9, I remember him walking back to the corner after round 9, and you'll respect what I'm saying. You'll understand this. He had his head down. I thought, that corner's got to do some work because he looks a little deflated. And from somewhere, he dug something out. And it's that championship mindset, I suppose. He dug it out from somewhere and he pushed on because he was the one that looked spent after 9 rounds. And in those final few rounds, the penultimate rounds, 10, 11, 12, you looked at it and you go, that is fighting spirit, man. Where has he found that from?
Championship rounds, he's been there before.
Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's been there before. All right, listen to Oladipo and Jordan on talkSPORT with Selco Beardle's Warehouse. It's where the trade go. More from Spencer Oliver and Anthony Yarde when we come back. And we're going to be looking ahead to that August 16th card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Moses Italma, the future king, some say, taking on a man that I think is going to cause him some problems, Dillian White.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.